9001. Through this series, I intend to help you understand the intricacies of the ISO 9001:2015 standard. And subsequent to this series, we will work at creating two separate series, one which will help you understand auditing best practices around each of these requirements from the ISO standard, and another series in which, if you are an implementation person, we will guide you through how do you implement the ISO 9001:2015 clauses and requirements. As usual, let's start with reading the standard first. 5.3, Organizational Roles and Responsibilities and Authorities. It reads, top management shall ensure that the responsibilities and authorities for relevant roles are assigned, communicated, and understood within the organization. Top management shall assign the responsibilities and authorities for A, ensuring that the QMS conforms to the requirement of this international standard. B, ensuring that the processes are delivering their intended outputs. Reporting on the performance of quality management system and on opportunities for improvement, in particular to the top management. D, ensuring the promotion of customer focus throughout the organization. E, ensuring that the integrity of the QMS is maintained when changes to the QMS are planned and implemented. One of the most important elements of success of process approach, be it ISO 9001 or your own organizational process design, shall always be roles and responsibilities and authority assignment, communication, and that it is aptly understood within the organization. If you want people to be able to perform their job, you must be able to clearly articulate what are they supposed to do. You provide them with the right resources, human and otherwise, to be able to perform the job. You pass on important responsibilities to people only after you've assessed their skills, and if their skills have gaps, you may want to work at fixing them first before you give them a particular role. So this clause, ISO 5.3, essentially talks about the very important element of the success of the quality management system: assignment of roles, responsibilities, and authorities, communication of roles, responsibilities, and authorities, and that such assignment and communication be completely understood to the people involved. Through A to E, this clause lays down what is needed. If you've understood the ISO 9001 standard flow so far, we started with the thought that ISO 9001 has three basic conscience elements. A, organization has demonstrable ability to meet the customer requirement and the applicable statutory and regulatory requirement. B, organization aims to enhance customer satisfaction through the effective application of the system. And three, that organizational processes work at improvement of the system. And through the cycle of implementation of quality management system, this standard lays down a lot of mandatory elements. Clause number 4 talks about internal and external issues. You have list of interested parties in the next clause. You have to identify needs and requirements of the interested parties, scope being available as a documented information, quality policy being available as a documented information, list of quality objectives that you have to create and decide on the way to implement them. There are necessities around identification and addressal of risk and opportunities within the company. You have to look at the flow of the entire product realization process, right from where you've captured the expressed or unexpressed needs of the customer to the point that the product is or service is produced, tested, a user acceptance of the product done, to the delivery of the product, and in certain cases, post-delivery activities. So quality management system has a lot of requirements that it lays down through this standard. 5.3 is essentially asking you to ensure that all responsibility and authority required to be able to do what this ISO 9001 2015 standard mandates to be listed, and that such role is aptly assigned, communicated, and understood within the organization. If you remember, when we were part of the clause number 4.4.1, in the section 4.4.1e, it says assign the responsibilities and authorities of these processes. So right from the time when you set out to create and document processes for quality management system, one important deliverable for this was assignment of responsibilities and authorities. So for each process, you are defining roles and responsibilities, authorities, etc. Through this clause of 5.3, the standard expects you to clearly articulate what responsibilities and authorities are required for the smooth functioning of the quality management system, and that they are adequately assigned, communicated, and understood. I would recommend that you use a role and responsibility assignment tool like a RASIC or a Reiki or anything else, so that you are able to clearly identify who is responsible for that activity, who is the approving authority, where should information flow be established for that particular process and its activities. You may want to look at what are the support and consulting functionalities that are required for that process to be performing at its optimum, etc. B, ensuring that processes are delivering their intended output. So roles and responsibilities must be defined so that we are able to hold certain people accountable for processes delivering intended outputs. C, reporting of performance of quality management system and on opportunities for improvement, in particular to top management. So outside all the processes that you've identified and roles and responsibility assignment of processes that you have to build, C mandates that reporting of performance of QMS must also be a defined activity for someone. Someone must be responsible and authority is defined for reporting of performance of the QMS and also for the opportunity of improvement, especially to the top management. D, ensuring the promotion of customer focus throughout the organization. Again, role and responsibility and authority must be defined on who is to be held accountable for promotion of customer focus within the organization. E, ensuring that the integrity of the QMS is maintained when changes to QMS are planned and implemented. Again, there will be changes made to the quality management system. And ISO 9001 clause 5.3e is mandating that someone must be responsible for ensuring that when changes to the quality management system is happening, the integrity of the quality management system is not jeopardized. So changes could end up impacting how we are handling the change management involved. And such changes to the QMS must not end up impacting the integrity of the quality management system. So ISO 9001 is mandating that responsibility and authority must be defined for this. I'm a huge fan of this clause 5.3, organizational roles and responsibilities and authorities. For me, if the organization intends to get the results it is looking for, clear assignment of roles and responsibilities and authorities, clear communication of roles, responsibilities, and authorities, and understanding of roles, responsibility, and authority is possibly one of the most important success elements of the entire QMS design. When a system has to perform a particular way, when a particular intended outcome is expected out of a system or a process, one of the most important elements is the assignment of who is supposed to do that. So roles, responsibilities, and authorities will form one of the basic structures of success of the quality management system. And one must take this very seriously. And in one of the subsequent clauses, it will ask for traceability between the required skill of the person and the skill of the person to be able to perform a job. So if I club 5.3 with that competence clause, it will make a lot of sense and it will give you the kind of results you're looking for. So take clause number 5.3 very seriously. I hope this simple video has been helpful. Thank you.